Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Bad Roommates. First up today we have I'm having issues with my roommates and need some advice by Sad Difficulty 7427. Hey guys, I'm a 20-year-old female and I really need some advice about my roommates. I've been living with two of them for over 5 months now, and honestly, it's been chaos. One of the roommates was a close personal friend of mine before we moved in together, while the other is actually her sister's ex-boyfriend. Before I moved in, I was staying with my uncle and his girlfriend, and she and I never got along. She was very petty, and as a 27-year-old, I honestly didn't understand why she had issues with me. My uncle asked me to help one of his friends by signing on to their lease, and I did. But later, things blew up with his girlfriend, and she basically told me to move out. When I tried to get my own apartment, I couldn't because I was already on a lease, and my age worked against me. At that point, my friend, the one I live with now, knew what I was going through and asked me to move in with her, since her sister had just left. But the reason her sister left was because my friend hooked up with her ex-boyfriend, for crying out loud, the same guy we all live with now. She called it a mistake, but the thing is, it didn't stop. It must be a magical dick. It's still happening to this day. She apologized to her sister. But I feel like if it were really an accident, like she tripped and fell on him, it wouldn't still be going on. Now, me and the guy roommate don't get along at all. He's very controlling and always wants explanations. For example, one day I asked if he could drive me to my boyfriend's church. Oh, don't ask him for favors. No. It was an hour away, so I even offered to pay for gas. He agreed, but after church, I was in a bad mood because of some personal stuff with my boyfriend, so I wasn't talking much. Later, he got mad at me for being quiet and demanded an explanation, which I didn't feel comfortable giving since he's not someone I trust with my personal life. Another issue is the dishes. I asked in the group chat if we could all do better, since they sit in the sink for weeks. Ugh. I got a "we'll try." No, don't try, just wash your dishes when you're done. But nothing changed. When I brought it up to him directly, he got defensive and told me how he's used to doing it, but it's still nasty to let dishes sit that long. Doesn't matter if he's used to doing it that way. The way he's used to doing it's disgusting. Then there's my friend. She crosses boundaries with my boyfriend. That's a nice way of saying ho. One time when he came over, she came into my room uninvited, bent over in front of him, then went to get her shirt and put it on right in front of us. Doesn't sound like a friend, but okay. I wish I was making that up, but I'm not. We also had drama over a house meeting. I originally asked for a Saturday night, but my friend said that she wasn't available and the guy had other plans, so I suggested we reschedule. Later, after her sister came over and vented to me about everything, my roommate suddenly texted me, wanting to have the meeting right then. I told them I wasn't in the mood after a long work week, but they kept pushing and accused me of being disrespectful for not showing up. Meanwhile, when I asked to reschedule, they didn't respect that at all. Take a screenshot of you asking them to reschedule, post that as your answer. At this point, I talked to my friend's sister who moved out, and she told me the same thing I've been feeling, that the guy is very controlling and always demands explanations. I'm honestly drained. I already told them I'm moving out next month to get my own apartment, because I can't keep living with roommates. It's just too much stress. Do you guys think I'm the problem here, or am I just trying to exist in a space that's not healthy for me? I mean, it doesn't really matter if you're the problem or not. Either way, you're obviously not compatible with those people, and the other awfulness you mentioned, you're going to be out of there soon, so it doesn't really matter. You're free and clear. Alright, story number 2. Should I Get Evicted from a Horrible Situation by Alive Remove 6187. I'm a grad student in my last semester. I've tried to get a job for 2 years with absolutely no luck. Tutoring has gone well, but I don't have any income over summer or holidays. I'm a single adult woman without family help. I received my final payout last month of $15,000, and I was given a kind of extension on rent by the company for 5 months. This leaves me $6,700 to pay if I am to avoid eviction. They have threatened to start the eviction process if I don't pay it all at once. DC has great renters' rights laws. It'd be a long and expensive process on their side. To preface this situation, the apartment is tiny, shared space impacted with the 5 of us. 6th incoming, 3 African immigrants and a young American woman with moderate autism. We have private rooms, which are nice and newly built. I assume I was placed there because my name is African. I'm American. The noise is constant. Screaming, extremely loud conversations, tribal chanting and praying, music, video games, sex, everything else. I hope that's not all one person. It goes up at 11 p.m. and slows down at 3 p.m. So, the number one issue is that I never sleep. I've been sleep-deprived the entire 13 months I've been there. I will not graduate on time and have to do an extra semester due to the fact that my thesis progress has come to a standstill. A secondary issue is the kitchen. We share a small kitchen living room, which is always occupied by a large meal with pungent odors and racks of fermented meat odors fill everyone's bedrooms for 3 days. I've used several bottles of Febreze and plug-ins. My purifier has helped, but the lingering stench is horrid. We have no windows. That don't sound right. 13 hours of cooking all weekend. And there are 7 huge containers in our one fridge. I mean, aren't there legally required to be windows? That's hinky. The freezer sometimes stays opened and melts all the food, including their giant Flintstones meats. They trigger the smoke alarm every single time, 2 a.m. or 2 p.m., sounds like they don't know how to cook. They refuse to use the dishwasher, so the sink is always piled up, and the clean dishes cover our only counter space. They aren't sanitary with the ice, so every drink I have at home is warm. There is no space for my food in the fridge, but if I do leave my few vegan groceries in there, I will see them thrown under a giant bag of fermenting, dripping meat. Ugh. They also eat my food and drink my coffee and almond creamer, so that's an added expense. I've given up on using the kitchen and resorted to just eating the dry, canned meals under my bed and eating from, why are you staying here, vending machines on campus. I've lost 14 pounds since I moved there, and my professor was extremely concerned. I saw a doctor who said I was under an immense amount of stress, and found lumps in my lymph nodes. The tertiary issue is boundaries. They don't exist. If my lingerie are in the laundry, a male will dry them, fold them, and leave them on the couch. I told him directly not to touch my things because it's my day to do laundry. He pretended I said nothing. This continues every week. They also bring my packages and mail out of the shared box, open them, and leave them on the counter, which I do not use, so it'd take me days to realize it wasn't stolen. I mean, it was stolen if it was opened, addressed to you, and someone else opens it. I consider that theft. They'll invite friends and entire extended family, have them stay a week, and not even mention there's a stranger sleeping in our cramped space for how long. The only way anyone communicates is via notes on my fridge whiteboard, and if they don't like the message, they erase it or respond aggressively. Lastly, the administration does absolutely nothing. I've explained all these problems over and over, begging for a new room, and they've ignored me, requesting more money. Stop paying then. Wi-Fi and maid service are included. Maid service? But the barest minimum. The elevator and Wi-Fi goes out at least once monthly. I cannot work from home because my job was threatened after my students couldn't reach me. I have to go to the library to offer tutoring service. Today they entered with no notice while I was at my research lab and started showing my room to someone. So my options here include the eviction process during the government shutdown, making a hefty payment to stay here and suffering through my last 2 semesters with no sleep or food, finding a new place without income, or a combo of these. You need to find a new place. That's your only option. Yeah. You're paying to have your health affected? No. You might need to sublet. It might be a slightly dodgy thing to have to do, but find somewhere else. That's really your only option here. Staying there is not an option. It sounds awful. Alright, third story today, 7 days and the drama starts. I remember if this one wanted to be anonymous or not. I think they did, yes. So I will do my best to keep personal bias from this and only touch on the actual issues. For context, I and my husband have previously had some family, health, and marital issues, so we decided to take some time apart from living together in order to prioritize our growth before coming back to our relationship. People being healthy and rational about relationship problems? You must be aliens, that's the only explanation. During this physical separation, my partner decided, with my understanding and agreement, to help a very close friend and his girlfriend out after a sudden move, by signing a lease with them and paying the bills 50-50. The friend, I'll call James, not his actual name, and his girlfriend Mary. I've met James personally a few times prior to the lease agreement, and I really like him. I had never met Mary until after my husband signed the lease 6 months ago. Also to add, I trust my husband, and he has made it very clear he isn't super fond of Mary at all. So infidelity is and never will be an issue there. The actual issues start about 5 weeks ago. I found out I was pregnant after believing it to be medically impossible, and very quickly had issues with the symptoms of the first trimester. It's been particularly difficult, and my husband has been very understanding and supportive. About a month ago, he suggested I go ahead and leave my living situation that required me to medically and financially assist in supporting my aging parents, and move in with him and the roommates until the lease ends in February of 2026. That way I could spend time focusing solely on my health and cut down my hours at work. This seemed great. James and Mary had agreed, and if James and my partner paid the bills, she would clean. So my only focus, theoretically, should have been myself, my job, and the pregnancy. Well, crazy enough. The day I moved in was the same day Mary decided she needed help cleaning and it was becoming too stressful. I did not mind stepping up to help, but as I did so, I began to notice the cleaning she had been doing this whole time was face value at best. For example, the sink counter was clean except under the tray, which had a standing puddle of mold under it. The toilet was white except under the lip, lid, and seat. Don't ask what color those places were, etc. So I kind of picked up the slack a bit more than anticipated in order to meet my standard of cleanliness, while still trying to leave the bulk of daily things like dishes and tidiness to her. After 7 days exactly, I decided to give up on that dream and keep the sink empty and take the trash out myself. She was the only one home to notice that I ended up loading the dishwasher 3 times that day and nearly as much every day since. The very next morning, she asked James to ask my husband to ask me to clean. Well, if she's the only one home with you, you can slap this crap out of her with no witnesses. Not that I'm encouraging violence, just an emotional impulse. Apparently it was unfair even though she still had and has no intention of getting a job. The reason she couldn't ask me directly as well was because she didn't want to start anything. Well, surprise, she did. 10 times since that day, as well as hand-washed any remaining dishes left each time. That was a week ago. I have been here 2 weeks total now. In this time I have loaded and started the dishwasher 10 times since that day, as well as hand-washed any remaining dishes left each time. In the same time frame, she has loaded it 1 time without starting it, and washed 3 cooking pots used for canned veggies, immediately after I used them. Like, nearly took them out of my hand in order to clean them. In addition, I have also done 3 loads of laundry for her. Why are you doing that? And James because she leaves them on the counter. And switched over 2 other loads for them to dry after they sat in the dishwasher wet for over a day. And 4 loads of ours if it matters. The 3 loads of hers I did, by the way, still sitting in my basket beside the laundry machine. It's been there 3 days. Oh, don't do the laundry anymore. Just move it to the side. Part of this post is that I just need to vent because this seems crazy and irrational to me. And the other is just to confirm that this is insane. There are a ton of personality issues that I could lay into, but I try to keep this specific to the cleaning issue. And how weird it's been. Yeah, she's just a lazy skank is what she is. At least you only have to put up with it until the lease is over, which is not too long, I hope. I'm assuming it was only a year lease, is that right? Bright side is you never have to see these people again if you don't want to afterward. Somebody mentioned on Reddit, document all the chores you're doing. Yeah, just do that so you can prove they're being done. You don't need to do anything extra. Quite frankly, you're doing more than you should anyway. I think, let's see, James, and that's his girlfriend, isn't it, Mary? He's the one that's going to have to deal with the long term, and you'll be free of it soon. Also, mad respect to you and your partner for being so mature about your relationship problems. Okay, am I being unreasonable? Fourth story, by Invisible Cat 6296. I will try to explain this as simply as possible. Each paragraph will kind of explain what I'm dealing with. My boyfriend, 24 male, and I, 22 female, welcomed our roommate, 28 male, sometime early July, thanks to my mother mentioning that I have a third, unused bedroom, and this guy was sleeping on his buddy's couch, not your problem, which he didn't want to do anymore, I suppose. I was originally going to decline because I've had such a rocky experience with having roommates in the past, all female. However, I also wanted to give it one more shot, this time with a male roommate. Oh, no, there's no difference. No difference, just the gender identity, really. It is not going well. I'd say for the entire month of July, he was very helpful with the lawn and upkeep of the dishes, which was the agreement, as I keep the rest of my 1,500 square foot house clean. August, he completely stopped helping with no explanation as to why. I'm generally a very understanding person as long as explanations are given behind certain behaviors. I don't bring this up to him directly because I'm literally scared to inconvenience him for any reason. Why? Seeing as the first week he seemed to drastically decline. Not your problem again. My boyfriend and I both had alarms going off in our head. Drugs, because Sean, our roomie, has a past of being on cocaine. And the night before this decline happened, he went to the strip club, and we cleared the air, and it was indeed not drugs, so he's just a wanker. I did talk to my boyfriend about my concerns of him not helping me with the lawn, as he said he would, and then helping my boyfriend with the dishes. Our power bill was also much higher. It cost my boyfriend and I, on average, $274 a month for him, and I, including the summer, which is probably still high for a 1,500 square foot mobile home, but the house is like 26 with an ancient AC unit, and we're putting money into this house already for new carpets, or we'd finance an AC unit. It was almost $500. I try to keep the air and heat off if I can help it, so that gas and electric isn't so high. But Sean complained to my mother. Why is he complaining to your mother? What's she got to do with it? About me never turning the air on, so I just turned it on. No, turn it off. Your mother has no say in what you do in your own house. None at all. But my gripe here is that both men like to fall asleep with the TV on. I've seen Sean with his more dim lights on well past 5 a.m. I ended up yelling at him because I knew that he drove my electricity higher than it should have been, as our last female roommate never cost us almost $500 in power costs. I told him this wasn't going to work anymore because I was already silently fed up. He told my boyfriend he technically has squatter's rights. The rights to get his legs broke is what he has. We never signed anything because my dad advised against it, and he's been here 2 months. Right, I don't know if squatter's rights is the right term, but he probably, because if he's getting his mail there, he'll have some sort of rights, yes. So do it legally, do it officially, give him file a proper eviction. He'll have 30 days notice, after which you can then force him out. So I doubt he has squatter's rights, since it has to be a longer period, plus we are aware he is here. He also gets so mad over the smallest things. 2 weeks ago we lost power, and I was scooping my cat's litter boxes. My reaction to that was, well, crap. And his stomping around and cursing. I've been diagnosed with BPD from having a very unstable environment when I was a child. This kind of behavior makes me panic, and my reaction to it, if it's over a long period of time, is negative. Think of a dog who is cornered. They will snarl and potentially bite. The next day, when I attempted to save the food by storing it in my parents' deep freezer, I thought it would take 12 hours to restore, he was throwing his food, stomping and yelling again, because his food was frozen and he just wanted an effing sandwich. I nearly had a panic attack, and I ended up lashing out, telling him it's no big deal and his reaction wasn't necessary, especially in my home, and that I personally need safe people around so I can heal. He called me a jerk. He has yelled at my mom a few times, so that didn't help. I very much currently see Sean as all bad due to black and white thinking. Basically, I want this guy out of my house. He never hangs out with us, so we really don't know about him, and it makes it hard to actually address any concerns because I feel we'll just make him angry if we ask to talk to him, probably. My boyfriend, as the main provider of the house, has way more say over this. No, he doesn't. What is this, the 1950s? It's either both of your houses or it belongs to you. Does he own it? Do you own it? Well, how does that work? Is it equally both your homes? But no, you both have equal say. But he really wants to give this guy until his felony falls off in a vehicle with someone who possessed cocaine so that he at least has a place to go. Am I being unreasonable? That I truly don't care and just want him out? He makes me uncomfortable. No, you're not. Do it the legal way, file the eviction, you'll have like 30 days, then get him out. Your boyfriend is being way too tolerant and way too reasonable. You need to get him out. He's a threat, he's a danger. Someone shouldn't be getting that angry at you in your own home when you're doing them a favor. Also, no more roommates. Story number 5. I can't use the dishwasher, do laundry, or breathe without upsetting my roommate. I need advice. By Pinkie Pie 00. I've been trying to be a considerate, low-maintenance roommate, but mine seems to think I'm personally responsible for our entire utility bill, and even lease violations. She gets upset whenever I use the dishwasher because it makes the utility bill skyrocket. Doesn't use that much power. I only use it when I cook, and I always make sure it's full before running it. But she still texts me and complains, saying I shouldn't use the dishwasher to save on electricity like she does. Well, she should stop texting you as much. That way she wouldn't need to charge her phone as much, which would save on electricity. She also accused me of basically having my boyfriend live here because he visits a few times a week. For context, when he's over, we only hang out in my bedroom. He doesn't shower here, doesn't eat her food, and doesn't use shared spaces. But she's now threatened to tell the leasing office that he lives here if he keeps coming around. Then have him over less, then she's got nothing to complain about. Hang out at his place more. If I leave any dishes in the sink, she'll take my dirty ones and hide them in the microwave oven. She's got problems. Or oven while she washes hers, and just leaves them there without letting me know or anything. One time I left a pot soaking in the sink for less than an hour after cooking spaghetti, and when I came back, it was sitting in the oven with water still inside it. It was disgusting to me. I get I should have washed it immediately, but sometimes they do need to soak. Well, no, you shouldn't have washed it immediately. It needed to soak. She refuses to let me turn on the AC below 85 Fahrenheit, saying it ramps up the bill. I wanted it on 78 and turn it down. And she goes right in and turns it directly back or shuts it off. We live in the south, and it's extremely hot outside, and feels even hotter in the apartment most days. She messages me if I do laundry after 10 p.m. I mean, if it's a shared space, that's fair. Asking me to turn it off and calling it inconvenient since her room is next to the laundry area, even though I'm quiet and respectful. Only reasonable thing she's said. Do your laundry during the day. Except when you live alone, like me, and then you can do it when you like. She's also told me to unplug everything in my bedroom whenever I leave, which just feels excessive. Keyword, told. I didn't respond to the message because it felt crazy to me, the audacity to tell me that. I get the goal, and maybe I'm spoiled, but I don't feel like it's necessary for me to plug my TV, lamp, lights, and anything when I leave. Like I went away for the weekend to visit family, and she texted me saying, "You left your fan on, I heard it while in the kitchen." I finally replied, "I get that you want to save on electricity, but my bedroom isn't a shared space. Having my fan on shouldn't be your business. To be fair, it should be your business if you're not there for the whole weekend and it's left on. That is a safety hazard. That could go on fire." But she was rude about it. I'm wondering if that was too rude, but honestly, I'm just fed up with the constant bossy messages. It's not rude to be upset at your roommate when they're making your life a living hell, but yeah, don't leave things on like that all weekend. It's not something that needs to be on. It is also wasting electricity for a full weekend. She's even gotten angry at me for coming home and leaving at night multiple times, saying the front door disturbs her, even though her room is all the way in the back of the apartment. We live in a college town, in a college apartment. It's loud everywhere, and I am so much quieter than somebody she could have been partnered with. At this point, I mostly stay in my bedroom. I don't even use the shared spaces anymore because she gives me so much anxiety to be around. She's never once been kind or friendly. The only time she talks to me are to complain about utility usage or to tell me what to do. I pay my full share of rent and utilities, I clean up after myself, and I keep to my bedroom. But it feels like I'm being monitored for existing in my own home. Essentially, you are. Has anyone else dealt with a roommate like this? Am I being selfish or rude by not living as frugally as her? No, people get crazy when it comes to monitoring electricity. They think everything's guzzling down power, and it doesn't. I've got one of those little monitor things that tells you what's being used and when. Leaving a light on, for example, not going to use that much power overall. If you have every light in the house on, that might be a problem. Fans, again, depending on the level you have it, it's not going to use that much, except if you're leaving it on all weekend. But we will not talk about that anymore. It's the temperature. That's such a minimal difference. She was upset about that. You have basically an anally retentive roommate, and she's making it your problem. Her problems shouldn't be yours, but you're definitely not compatible. Let's see. If you can move out or possibly get a swap or something like that, I'd definitely consider it. She needs to be someone who has the same she needs to be with someone who has the same sensibilities as her, and so do you. You seem much more casual and relaxed. I don't think you're being excessive in the way you use electricity. Apart from the fan, but we're not going to talk about that, as I said. It's just not going to work long term. And you're going to drive each other nuts, which is going to stress you both out, and that's not good for anyone. Good luck with it. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Big thanks to everyone who allowed me to use their stories. If you would like to support the channel, you can sign up for my Patreon page, which is linked in the description. $1 a month, or a little more if you prefer, gets you early access to all the videos at once on Monday. There is also a link to my merchandise store on Teespring. If you need to contact me, that's kingofthecities@gmail.com. It's also written out for you in the description if you need to see it spelled. I think that's everything. Oh yes, we've got Discord and other social media if you want to check those out. But for now, that's everything, so until next time, thank you very much for watching, and take very good care of yourselves. Bye bye.